Hello, I'm Neil Armstrong. Thank you for inviting me over to your biography party. I'm famous for being the first man on the moon. I am Max Bury's second cousin, twice removed. I was born near Wapakoneta on August 5th, 1930. My parents are Viola and Stephen. As a child, I loved to read and was a very good student. I also loved flying ever since I first rode an airplane. I still remember the tin goose soaring above the city of Wapakoneta as I, Neil Armstrong, age 6, peered out the window. 4 years later, I became an expert Cub Scout and bakery assistant, not to mention lawnmower. I began flying planes myself when I was only 15. Imagine flying a plane before you even knew how to drive. I began college at the age of 17 and studied flying machines. After college, I served in the Navy for 3 years. I got a job testing planes in California. In 1962, I married to a woman named Jan. My first son, Eric, was born in 1957. My daughter, Karen, was born 3 years later but died of cancer in 1962. One chilly October day, exciting news broke out. NASA had sent a beach ball-sized satellite into space. The same day, the space race began. It was the Soviet Union versus the USA. The finish line? The moon. At first, the Soviets pulled ahead with the first man in space, Yuri Gagarin. Then, 3 weeks later, we pulled up just behind with the second, Alan Shepard. NASA kept blasting rockets into space when we got 3 feet off the ground. One day, a few months later, NASA sent me a form that said I could sign up to be an astronaut. I toyed with the idea of going higher than I ever went before, even in a plane. I was nervous, but I filled out the form to say I'd do it. Finally, after 3 years of training, 3 days of countdown, and about an hour of getting ready, we were headed to the moon. We walked into the ship and got into our positions. For 20 minutes, the flight was uneventful. Then, suddenly, the ship started to spin uncontrollably. I zipped to the controls and worked them as fast as I could for a solid 5 minutes. Finally, slowly but surely, the ship came to a halt. We wanted to continue, but NASA wouldn't let us. I thought it was my fault for a while, but later I found out it was NASA's fault. It wasn't me who made the ship spin out of control. It was a faulty forward thrust rocket engine. On July 16, 1969, I was in a rocket on my way back to the moon. 20 seconds till blast off. 10 seconds till blast off. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off. Our rocket zoomed up into the sky, trailing fire. Soon, Buzz and I had to leave our only other crew member, Michael Collins, to go land on the moon. It was hard to find a good landing spot because the moon was so rocky. Once we found a good landing spot, Buzz gave me the honor of going first. As I climbed down the ladder, I thought about what I would say when I stepped on the moon. When I was on the bottom rung, I finally thought of it. As I stepped on the dusty, gray sand of the moon, I asked NASA if I could say something to the public. They said yes, and I started to make a speech that would put a good, firm landmark in the history of our planet. I have a recording of exactly what I said right here. On July 24th, 1969, I landed in the Pacific Ocean and was soon picked up by a Navy vessel. When I got home, there was a parade in my honor. There was so much confetti, it looked like we were in a blizzard. Later, I became a college professor and bought a farm in Ohio. Sadly, me and Jen were divorced at 38 years of marriage, but I soon married to a woman named Carol, who is also interested in flying. When were you born again? 1930. Jillian. Well, I'm pretty sure of the fact that it was in my book and Neil Armstrong was the nose. He took the right for his first flying machine. Yeah, because he couldn't fall. Trevor. What got you interested in flying? When I was 3, my dad took me to a flying a plane race, and I loved planes ever since. Billy? Did he die? No, I'm still alive.
So you were flying before you had a driver's license?
Yeah. Caitlin.
How old are you now in your life?
30. Really, really, really old.
You have to figure it out. She was born in like
79.
Thank you, dear. Any other questions for Neil Armstrong? Well, that was a very exciting report. Thank you, Matt. Excellent job.
Very thorough.
He will be 79. Okay. Okay.